Hello everyone. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something very simple but very powerful. How to think in English. This is a problem that many learners have. Even if your life is busy, even if you feel shy, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can still learn to think in English step by step. Many people believe that they must move to the UK or the US to learn English well. But this is not true. You don't need to live in London. You don't need a native speaker next to you all the time. And you don't need to study for many hours every night. What you really need are small and smart steps. Steps that are easy to repeat every day. Steps that fit into your daily life. For example, speaking for 1 minute in the morning, listening while you're walking, or thinking in English when you are alone. These small habits may look simple, but over time, they create real change. If you live in a country where people speak English every day, you will hear it often. You will use it often. So slowly, English becomes part of your thinking. You don't need to translate anymore. When you want to say something, the sentence comes directly in English. But for most people, this is not their situation. Most learners live in places where English is not used every day. This may be your situation too. Maybe you study by yourself. Maybe you only use English when you watch videos or read something online. And when you try to speak, you feel slow. You think in your language first. Then you try to change it into English. This takes time. And sometimes your sentence sounds strange because English has a different structure. For example, in your language, you may say something like, I very like this. But in English, we say, I really like this. This is why translating in your head can make speaking difficult and unnatural. Let me tell you the real problem. You are not slow because your English is bad. You are slow because you are translating. Your brain is trying to do two things at the same time. First, you think in your own language. Then you try to change it into English. This takes time. And while you are thinking, the conversation is already moving. That is why you feel nervous. That is why you stop. Think about this. Someone asks you a simple question like, what did you do today? You understand it, but before you answer, your brain goes back to your language first. Then you try to build the English sentence. And in that moment, you feel stuck. This is not because you are not good. It is because your brain is working too hard. But here is the good news. When you stop translating, everything becomes faster and easier. You can train your brain to think directly in English. You don't need a special talent. You just need practice and a simple method. And today, I will show you how to do that. Let's begin with one of the most powerful techniques, shadowing. Maybe you have heard this word before, or maybe it is new to you. Shadowing is a simple but very effective way to improve both your listening and your speaking at the same time. Here is how it works. You listen to someone speaking English, like a podcast, a video, or even this audio. Then you repeat what you hear. You don't stop to think. You don't translate. You don't check the dictionary. You just listen and repeat like an echo. Try to copy not only the words, but also the sound, the speed, and the rhythm. This is very important because English is not just words. It has a flow. Let's try it together. I will say a sentence and you repeat after me. I want to speak English fluently. Now you repeat. I listen to English every day. Now you repeat. Shadowing helps me think and speak better. Now you repeat. That is shadowing. At first, it may feel strange. You may feel like you are speaking too fast. You may not understand every word, but that is okay. Shadowing is not about understanding everything. It is about training your brain and your mouth to work together. Think about music. When you learn a song, you don't understand every word at first, but you listen, you repeat, and slowly you can sing it. Language works in a similar way. If you practice shadowing every day, even for 5 minutes, you will start to notice something. Your speaking becomes faster, your pronunciation becomes clearer, and your sentences start to feel more natural. This is because your brain is getting used to English patterns. Now, let's come back to the main question, how to think in English. Many students tell me the same thing. I want to improve, but I don't have time. Or I feel nervous when I speak. Or I don't know how to start. And my answer is always simple. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need perfect grammar. And you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to begin. Let's begin with one of the most powerful techniques, shadowing. Maybe you have heard this word before, or maybe it is new to you. Shadowing is a simple but very effective way to improve both your listening and your speaking at the same time. Here is how it works. You listen to someone speaking English, like a podcast, a video, or even this audio. Then you repeat what you hear. You don't stop to think. You don't translate. You don't check the dictionary. You just listen and repeat like an echo. Try to copy not only the words, but also the sound, the speed, and the rhythm. This is very important because English is not just words. It has a flow. For example, when you wake up, you can say in your mind, I feel tired today, or I have a busy day. When you are eating, you can think, this food is good, or I want more water. These are simple sentences, but they help your brain switch to English. Over time, you will stop translating. You will start thinking directly. So in this episode, I will share 5 simple and powerful ways that you can use English every day in your real life. No matter where you are, no matter how busy you are. Let's begin. Tip number 1 is simple but very powerful. Think in English one thought at a time. This is one of the biggest changes you can make when learning English. Many people try to translate everything from their own language, and this makes speaking slow and difficult. So instead of translating full sentences, you start with small thoughts. At the beginning, this will feel a little difficult. Your brain will want to go back to your native language. That is normal. But you don't need to fight it too hard. You just need to guide your thinking step by step. Start with short and simple sentences in your mind. For example, when you wake up, you can think, it's morning, I feel sleepy, I need a coffee. When you walk outside, you can say in your mind, the sky is blue, the air is cold, I see a dog. During your day, you can think, I am working, I feel tired, I want to go home. These are very simple thoughts, but they are very important. They help your brain connect directly to English. You are not translating, you are thinking, and that is the goal. Later, you can try to say these sentences out loud. You don't need to speak loudly. You can whisper or speak quietly. It may feel strange at first, but it is like having a small conversation with yourself. And this is one of the best ways to practice. Most teachers and experts say the same thing. Start small. A good first step is to think in single words. Look around you right now. What do you see? Try to name things in English. For example, phone, table, chair, window, door. At first, you may not know all the words. That is okay. You can skip it or look it up later. The important thing is to try. One teacher I know often tells his students to do this every day. When they wake up, they look around and name things. When they walk outside, they do the same. After some time, something interesting happens. Words start to come to your mind automatically. You don't need to think too much. You can also make it a habit. For example, when you are in your room, you name 5 things. When you are in the kitchen, you name 5 things. Before you sleep, you think about what you used today. Phone, bag, keys, food. This builds your vocabulary in a natural way. After you feel comfortable with nouns, you can add verbs. For example, I open the door. I drink water. I sit on the chair. Now your thinking becomes more active, not just naming, but describing actions. Now let's move to the next level, thinking in conversation. This means you imagine that you are talking to someone. You ask questions and you answer them. This is very powerful because it prepares you for real life. For example, imagine someone asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" You can answer in your mind, "Yesterday, I worked. Then I went home. I watched a video and went to sleep." Or imagine someone asks, "What do you like to do on weekends?" You can answer, "I like to relax. I watch movies. Sometimes I go out with friends." At first, your answers will be simple. That is okay. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to get used to speaking in your mind without translating. You can do this anywhere. When you are walking, when you are waiting, when you are alone, you don't need a partner. You create the conversation yourself. And here is something important. Sometimes you will not know a word. Your mind will stop. In that moment, don't go back to your native language. Try to explain the idea in a different way. For example, if you don't know the word calculator, you can say, "The thing I use to count numbers." This is exactly what happens in real conversations. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your brain will stop translating. Tip number 2 is very important. Use English in your daily life. If you want to speak English well, don't only study English, live with English. This idea is simple, but many people don't do it. They study for 30 minutes, then they stop. The rest of the day, they go back to their own language. So their brain never gets used to English. But if you start using English in small moments during the day, everything begins to change. English becomes something natural, not something difficult. Think about your normal day. When you wake up, when you eat, when you walk, when you use your phone. These are all chances to use English. For example, in the morning, when you get dressed, you can say in your mind, "I put on my shirt. I wear my shoes. I take my bag." When you are outside, you can say, "I walk to work. I wait for the bus. I see many people." These are very simple sentences, but they help you stay in English. At first, it may feel slow. You may need to think a lot. That is okay. You are training your brain. You can also do this when you are doing daily tasks. For example, when you are cooking, you can say, "I cut the vegetables, I cook rice, the food smells good." When you are using your phone, you can think, "I check my messages, I watch a video, I reply to my friend." These small actions happen every day, so you have many chances to practice. You don't need extra time. You just use the time you already have. Another useful way is to describe your day using simple sentences. Start with the present tense. This is the easiest way. For example, I work in the office. I answer emails. I talk to my boss. Keep it simple and clear. After that, you can try to think about your plans. This helps you use different tenses. For example, in the morning you can say, today, I will go to work. I will meet my friend. I will study English tonight. Or you can make a small plan in your mind. After work, I'm going to buy coffee. Then I will go home. I will watch a video and relax. This may feel more difficult at first, but it helps you speak about the future. You can also think about past actions at night. For example, today I worked a lot. I talked to my friend. I learned some new words. So now you are using 3 time forms: present, future, and past. This is how real language works in daily life. And here's why this method is powerful. You are not memorizing. You are using English again and again in real situations. Your brain starts to remember patterns. You don't need to translate every time. Over time, something changes. You stop thinking your language first. You start thinking directly in English. And that is a big step toward fluency. Tip number 3 is very simple, but also very important. Immerse yourself in English. This means you listen to English every day. If you want to think in English and speak more naturally, you need to hear the language often. Not once a week, not only in class, but a little bit every day. Many learners focus too much on grammar or vocabulary, but they forget one thing. Language is something you hear first. Before you can speak well, your brain needs to get used to the sound of English. Listening helps you learn new words, but more importantly, it helps you understand how real English sounds. You learn the rhythm, the speed, and the natural way people speak. This is something books cannot teach you. At first, listening may feel difficult. You may feel like you don't understand anything. Maybe you only catch a few words. This is normal. Many people stop at this point because they think this is too hard for me. But actually, this is the most important stage. Your brain is learning even if you don't notice it yet. Think about when you listen to music in another language. At first, it sounds like noise. But after you hear it many times, you start to recognize words. Then you understand small parts. Language works the same way. So you don't need to understand 100%. Even if you understand 30% or 50%, it is still very useful. Your brain is slowly building connections. Over time, you will understand more without translating. Now, how can you do this in real life? It's very simple. You can listen to podcasts like this one. You can listen to English music. You can watch short videos on YouTube. You can listen to simple stories or English news for learners. Choose something you enjoy, because if you enjoy it, you will continue. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. If you do this every day, your ears will slowly become stronger. You will start to recognize common words and phrases. And one day, you will notice something surprising. You will understand without thinking too much. This is the moment when you stop translating, because your brain is now used to English. So don't worry if it feels slow at the beginning. Just keep listening. Make English your background sound like music in your life. And over time, it will become natural for you. Tip number 4 is very important. Speak out loud and train your speaking muscles. Many learners read English in their head, and that is good for understanding. But if you want to speak better, you must use your voice. Speaking is a physical skill. It uses your mouth, your tongue, your lips, and your breath. If you don't practice, it will feel difficult every time you try to speak. So reading out loud is a simple but powerful habit. Choose something easy, not too difficult. It can be a short story, a simple dialogue, or even subtitles from a video you like. Read it slowly at first. Focus on clear pronunciation. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Then read it again a little faster. Then read it again with more feeling, like you are telling a story or acting in a movie. For example, if you read the sentence, "I am happy to see you," don't just read the words. Try to feel it. Say like you mean it. This helps your brain understand not only the meaning, but also the emotion in English. At first, you may feel uncomfortable. Maybe your voice sounds strange. Maybe some words are difficult to say. That is normal. Even simple words like world or comfortable can be hard. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Think of it like going to the gym. The first time is always difficult. But if you train a little every day, your muscles become stronger. Your speaking works the same way. Now let's move to the next step. Use what you hear and speak it out loud. Listening is important, but speaking is what makes you improve faster. After you listen to a sentence, repeat it. Not just the words, but also the sound, the rhythm, and the feeling. For example, listen to this. "I want to get better at English." Now repeat it. Try to match the speed and the tone. "I don't understand everything, but I keep going." Repeat it again. "I'm improving little by little." Repeat. When you do this, you are training your mouth to move in English naturally. You are also training your ear to hear correct pronunciation. At first, you may not sound the same as the speaker. That is okay. Don't stop. Just continue. Over time, your voice will become smoother. Your pronunciation will become clearer. And you will feel more comfortable speaking. You can do this anywhere. At home, in your room, or even when you're alone outside. Some people practice while walking or cooking. You don't need a perfect place. You just need to use your voice. Also, repetition is very important. Don't just say something one time and move on. Repeat it again and again. This helps your brain remember the sound and the structure. For example, you can repeat one sentence 5 times, 10 times, or even more. It may feel boring, but this is how your speaking becomes natural. So remember this. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be practiced. If you use your voice every day, even for a few minutes, you will see a big difference over time. Your speaking will become easier, clearer, and more confident. And that is the goal. Tip number 5 is about changing one simple habit in your daily life. This is a very easy way to learn English, even if you are very busy. You don't need extra time. You just use the time you already have. Start by changing your phone settings to English. Think about how many times you look at your phone every day. Maybe 50 times, maybe even 100 times. You check messages, social media, the time, all notifications. So why not turn this into learning time? When your phone is in English, you start to see English words again and again. Words like settings, airplane mode, brightness, update, delete, or download. At first, you may not understand everything, but after a few days, you start to recognize these words. You don't need to study them. You don't need to memorize them. Your brain learns them naturally because you see them so often. This is called passive learning. It means you learn without feeling like you are studying. It is simple but very powerful, especially for people who are busy or don't have much time. Another habit you can build is writing a short diary in English every day. You don't need to write long paragraphs. You don't need to worry about perfect grammar. Just write 3 simple sentences about your day. For example, you can write, "Today I went to work. I felt very tired. I drank 2 cups of coffee." Or, "It rained this morning. I stayed at home. I watched an English video." These sentences may look simple, but they are very useful. They help you practice sentence structure. They help you use real vocabulary from your own life. And most importantly, they help you think in English, not translate. You can do this at night before you sleep. It only takes 5 minutes. You can write in a notebook or on your phone. If you want, you can also send your sentences to a friend who is learning English. You write, they reply. Now it becomes a real conversation. And one more simple method is using short videos. Today, platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are full of short English videos. These videos are usually easy to understand and very close to real life. You can choose any topic you like: travel, food, daily life, or even funny videos. The important thing is that you enjoy it. Watch one short video 2 or 3 times. Then pause and repeat the sentences. Try to copy how the speaker talks. Pay attention to their tone, their speed, and how they connect words together. Even if the video is only 20 seconds long, it is enough. Because you are not just watching, you are listening, repeating, and practicing. This is how you train your ear and your mouth together. And this is how real speaking improves. If you combine these small habits, changing your phone, writing a short diary, and repeating short videos, you will start to see a big difference. Not in one day, but over time. Your brain will become more familiar with English, and slowly you will stop translating. You will start thinking directly. Okay, so let's make it simple. Thinking in English is not as difficult as you think. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you don't need a teacher next to you all the time. You can practice it by yourself in your daily life, step by step. Here is the real secret. You don't need to add something new to your day. You just need to change what you already do into English. For example, instead of checking your phone in your own language, try to read one message in English. Instead of writing your daily notes in your language, try to write 1 or 2 simple sentences in English. When you are walking, instead of thinking in your language, try to describe what you see in English. These are very small actions, but they are very powerful. When you repeat these small actions every day, they slowly become habits. And strong habits create confident speakers. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every day and use English a little more. Think about your normal day. You wake up, you check your phone, you eat, you go to work, you rest. All of these moments can become practice. For example, in the morning, you can think, I feel sleepy. At lunch, you can think, this food is good. At night, you can say, today was a busy day. These are simple, but they help your brain stay in English. Over time, something important happens. You stop translating. You stop thinking in two languages. English starts to come to your mind more naturally. So remember this. Don't treat English like homework. Don't think, I need 1 hour to study. Instead, make English part of your life. Let it be in your phone, your notes, your thoughts, and your voice. Let it be something you use, not just something you learn. When you do this, English feels different. It feels easier. It feels more natural. And this is where real fluency begins. So start small, stay consistent, and keep going. See you next time. Goodbye for now.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional video that we thoughtfully selected for you.